She walked into Gas Monkey Garage, looked Richard Rawlings dead in the face, and called him an ass monkey on national television. She did it casually, like she'd done it 1,000 times before. And honestly, she probably had. For years, Sue Martin was one of the most electric people on Fast and Loud. The kind of personality that made you stop scrolling and actually watch. So when she started disappearing from the show, fans noticed, and what made it stranger was that nobody said a word. Not Sue, not Richard, not Discovery. She was just gone. So what actually happened, and where is the woman they called the Upholstery Queen right now? To understand why Sue's departure hit differently, you have to understand where she came from first, because her story is genuinely one of the most impressive on that entire show, cast included. Sue Martin's real name is Yu-Lan Martin. She was born in Taipei, Taiwan, into a hard-working farming family. After immigrating to the United States and starting a family of her own, she found herself in Dallas, Texas, trying to build something from nothing. In 1990, she got her shot, not a glamorous one, but a real one. A small auto upholstery business in Dallas had gone bankrupt, and the whole thing was up for sale. Sue bought it for $4,500. That's it. $4,500 was the starting point. The shop was 1,000 square feet. She had no formal training in the trade. She'd taught herself the craft working alongside her very first employee, a man named Adan de la Rosa. Her first real project was reupholstering her own husband's 1968 Ford Gran Torino, right there in her garage, with a friend helping her figure it out as they went. That car became the foundation of everything she'd build afterward. She named the business ASM Auto Upholstery, and she got to work. What happened next wasn't overnight success. It was relentless, grinding daily work. Sue has talked about sleeping in her shop during busy stretches. She rented out an adjoining space when the first one got too small. Then she moved across the street into 2,000 square feet. A few years later, she had enough saved to buy the whole complex outright. She wasn't just keeping the lights on. She was building something serious, long before any TV camera ever pointed at her. Here's where the Fast and Loud connection comes from, and it's almost embarrassingly simple. Richard Rawlings opened Gas Monkey Garage down the street from ASM. He drove past one day, saw the quality of what Sue's crew was turning out, and walked in. That was it. No casting call, no audition. He just needed someone to do his interiors, and the best upholstery shop in the area happened to be his neighbor. Sue confirmed this herself in an interview, saying plainly, "Richard's shop was down the street when he came by and saw our quality work and decided to use us. That was 12 years ago, and we've had a business relationship since." When Fast and Loud debuted on Discovery Channel in 2012, Sue came along with the work. She wasn't a Gas Monkey employee, she never was. She was an independent contractor, a business owner who Richard called when he needed interiors done right. But the cameras loved her from the moment she appeared on screen. The combination of genuine skill and zero-filter personality made for incredible television. She had a signature greeting for every project Rawlings brought her. "Why you always bring me junk?" And the man she was saying it to was the host of a nationally televised show. She didn't care even slightly. It's easy to remember Sue for the laughs, and there were plenty of them. But she was also legitimately excellent at what she did. The Gas Monkey builds often went to auction, which meant the deadlines were absolutely real. There was no pushing them back. Sue explained in one interview that the way she managed the pressure was by putting multiple employees on the same project and working late into the night. That's not just personality, that's a professional operation running at full capacity. Her shop handled everything: automotive, marine, aircraft upholstery, and she managed all of it while carving out time for the show's filming, which they handled by splitting the shop so one side could keep running while Discovery used the other. She was running a full business and appearing on a hit cable show simultaneously, and she made both look effortless. Fans adored her. Discovery viewers from all over the world started reaching out to ASM, and her client base expanded internationally as a direct result of the exposure. But here's the thing she made a point of saying. The show hadn't changed the fundamentals of her business. She already had a full client roster before a single episode aired. The cameras brought her fans. The quality of her work brought her customers. There's a real difference between those two things, and Sue understood it completely. Part of what made every Sue appearance must-see television was that nobody could quite figure out how serious the friction was. She called Richard Rawlings an on-monkey to his face on camera. She complained loudly and frequently that he only ever brought her junk. She negotiated hard on price and made no effort to hide her irritation at impossible timelines. And Rawlings, who never struggled to hold his own against anyone, always seemed slightly off balance around her. Viewers debated it constantly. Was it scripted banter, or was there genuine frustration underneath it? The honest answer is probably both. The deadlines were absolutely real, as Sue confirmed. The quality of the vehicles coming in at their absolute worst was real too. But the dynamic was also electric TV, and it's hard to imagine nobody on the production side recognized what they had. What made it work was that Sue's aggression wasn't personal, it was professional. She had standards. She had a business to protect. Richard Rawlings was a client who happened to be a TV star, and she treated him with the same blunt honesty she'd give anybody. That's rare on reality TV, where most people soften up the moment the cameras roll. Something that tends to get lost in the conversation about Sue's departure from Fast and Loud is that she didn't just disappear from television altogether. She crossed over into the spin-off, Misfit Garage, appearing in 5 episodes between 2015 and 2016. That show followed a crew of former Gas Monkey guys who'd split off and started their own garage, and Sue became involved with their builds the same way she had with Rawlings, through her upholstery work. But if anything, the Misfit Garage experience revealed just how much tension could build around Sue's operation. In one documented situation, the Misfit crew was hired to restore a 1956 Ford truck for Sue herself. They were late, badly late, and she made no effort to hide how unimpressed she was. She reportedly threatened to bring Richard Rawlings in to finish the job, which was about the most insulting thing she could have said to a group of guys who'd specifically left Gas Monkey to get away from him. The whole situation nearly blew up completely before it was finally resolved. What that episode quietly confirmed was something fans had already sensed. Sue's loyalty was to the work and to her shop, not to any one show, not to any one personality. If you brought her junk and missed her deadline, there were consequences, and she didn't care if you were a television star or not. And then she was gone from Fast and Loud. No announcement, no farewell episode, no Instagram post from Richard saying thanks for the years. She simply stopped appearing somewhere in the later seasons, and neither party ever addressed it publicly. That silence is actually what made it a story, because everyone else who left that show had a reason on record. Aaron Kaufman announced he was leaving in 2017 to open his own shop, Arclight Fabrication, and eventually got his own Discovery series. Christy Brimberry talked openly about her battle with thyroid cancer and her eventual departure. The Misfit Garage crew had their whole exit dramatized on screen. Sue just vanished, and the closest anyone has gotten to an explanation is speculation. The most commonly discussed theories involve the relationship with Rawlings becoming genuinely strained over time. The impossible deadlines, the constant negotiations, the feeling that the show's demands were pulling resources away from her actual business. Others have pointed to the possibility that she was actively pursuing other opportunities and simply found less reason to stay tied to the Gas Monkey orbit. A look at ASM's social media from that period shows she wasn't exactly grieving the separation, she was busy. What's telling is that as of the show's final seasons and its eventual cancellation in 2020, neither Sue nor Richard had said a word about what happened between them. And given that Rawlings famously couldn't say anything negative about Discovery Channel without risking a $25,000 scene per incident, a clause that eventually helped push him out the door entirely, it's reasonable to wonder whether there were similar contractual reasons keeping both parties quiet. The truth is that nobody outside of those two people knows for certain, and apparently that's exactly how they both want it. Here's where the story gets genuinely satisfying. While Fast and Loud spent its final seasons losing key people, Aaron Kaufman gone in 2017, Christy Brimberry out, the show ultimately canceled in 2020 when Rawlings finally walked away from Discovery to pursue his own projects. Sue Martin was building an empire. ASM Auto Upholstery grew from that 1,000-square-foot garage she bought for $4,500 into an 8,800-square-foot professional operation employing 9 people. She expanded to a second location in Fresno, Texas. She ships work nationwide, taking restoration projects from clients all across the country who ship their vehicles directly to her. She handles automotive upholstery, marine work, and aircraft interiors. Her shop maintains an active social media presence that keeps her connected to a global fan base, and she still shows up at major car events. In May 2022, she posted about attending a Shelby America and Carroll Shelby Foundation event, the kind of invitation that doesn't come to people who faded out of the industry. Her estimated net worth sits around $1.5 million, built not on TV appearances but on 3 decades of relentless work that started before anyone at Discovery Channel had ever heard of her. The show gave her international name recognition. The business she'd already built gave her somewhere to channel it. Richard Rawlings built a television brand, Sue Martin built a business. Those are two very different things, and it turned out one of them outlasted the cameras in a much cleaner way than the other. Fast and Loud is over. Gas Monkey Garage still exists, but it shifted to YouTube after Rawlings cut ties with Discovery, trading cable network reach for creative control. Aaron Kaufman is running his custom shop in Dallas. Christy Brimberry beat cancer and stepped away from the industry entirely. And Sue Martin, the woman they called the Dragon Lady, the one who called the host an ass monkey and charged him full price anyway, is still in Dallas, still stitching interiors, still running a 9-person shop, and still taking orders from clients who found her through a Discovery Channel show that's been off the air for years. Whatever happened between her and Rawlings, whatever conversation or falling out or gradual drift led to her disappearing from the screen without a single word of explanation, it clearly didn't hurt her. If anything, the mystery has kept people searching her name long after most Fast and Loud cast members have been forgotten entirely. She was the one character on that show who felt completely real. No arc, no drama for the cameras. Just a woman who knew exactly what her work was worth and wasn't interested in pretending otherwise. That kind of thing tends to age well.